So right here on the right is Zach.
Very busy last week or so for you. I'm wondering if you've been able to kind of step back a little bit and appreciate all of the craziness while you're also trying to prepare for this upcoming game.
For sure. Just glad I got to represent our guys. I think you look at a body of work as a whole, as a unit. You just appreciate all that goes into it, and I'm glad I could represent them. But met a lot of great people, had a lot of great conversations. So I'm grateful and blessed to be a part of that too.
Front left, James.
With everybody who managed to make it to New York, just what did General Booty being able to make that trip at the end and surprise you like that? What did that mean to you?
It was good fun. I think the best part of all this is like you get to be around family, and even when family travels out for games, it's just different. You're preoccupied on something else. But for that event, at least, we could enjoy each other's company and just hang out.
On the left here, second row, Eric.
Just asking Coach kind of what the benefits are of the bye. He said kind of the rest, and you guys maybe taking a different practice approach. Just from your perspective, what have the advantages been of having a little more time than the other teams?
I think just getting everyone back has been important, which is good, and then getting everyone reps as well. I think in the year in the season, you tend to what's urgent, what's important kind of deal, and now you're able to just kind of peel everything back, self scout, and I don't think we'd have that time if we didn't have the bye, and then getting a head start. So there's a lot of pros to it. We have a great schedule that keeps us in football shape, keeps us conditioned the whole nine, but also doesn't kill us. So it's been really good and refreshing. And then, like I said, I think just the deeper conversations we're able to have because we have more time has allowed us to get on the same page more.
Front right, Zach.
On a similar note to that, how do you balance keeping in football shape and resting up and trying to get healthy and not letting rust build up or get stagnant?
Yeah, just being super intentional with the reps. And I think coach does a good job of like knowing when to, of course, get our work in, or know when, hey, like maybe this is a different way we can approach practice. So he's done a great job of that and has helped us a bunch. But I still think, it's a balance that everyone's trying to find. And as a player, I know we found a great balance on the player side.
In the middle, Tyson.
Dylan, I know completion percentage comes down to a lot of timing and chemistry and the routes and stuff, but in actually like breaking down like your accuracy, what would you pinpoint to throughout your development of your career that allowed you to develop that trait to be able to? It's not like you've had to put it through a window a ton this year, but when you've had to, you've been able to with pretty high success rate.
Yeah, I think reps. Not a lot of people are patient enough now to get past a certain point of, there's going to be failure, there's going to be inconsistency, but I also believe that there's another side to that, kind of over the mountain that people can't see, right? And I think I've found a happy medium, and was able to get over that hump. I think throughout my career, I've done my due diligence, but I've also played around great people, so it's helped me. But I think taking that next step is having patience, and people trusting your ability. And Coach Lanning and Coach Stein know like the spring wasn't the prettiest, but they also understand that it's a marathon, and the growth happens, through failure and learning. How are you ever going to know if you can fit a ball in a tight window or challenge a certain coverage if you don't do it? So I think the confidence is from having coaches that trust your ability and allow you to grow in that way. And I'm blessed that I have that because I think it's doing me right. So
Back left, Matt.
Can you speak to just the impressiveness of Dave Iuli coming in middle of November, not playing at all, in a position of protecting you, and just how well he's done and what's allowed him to be so successful for you guys there?
yeah, I think him being here for a good amount of time, he's very he's a vet in his mind in terms of what he knows and what we try to do offensively, which has helped him just plug and play. And of course, he dealt the physical battles, but you just see a guy who's continuing to fight, and keep swinging. And I appreciate that as a player. A guy who pours his all into it, and really, came in mid-season when we needed him, and he just executed. And he's just reliable. But more importantly, I think you're seeing him turn and flourish into his own as he, like this is perfect for him. This time to kind of peel everything back and kind of take a deep breath and see how he can get better. And I think, you just look at him. Like I'm grateful for him and his contribution to what we do offensively. But he's a damn good player. He's a damn good person. And being around him, you're actually competitive. You smile a little more. He's a infectious person. So
Middle right, Cam.
Dylan, obviously the Rose Bowl is such an historic thing, and the team gets to do a lot of cool and really fun things while you guys are on that trip. Just how do you plan to find the right balance between taking all of it in, genuinely enjoying it, but also staying focused on football and the game when it gets there?
yeah, I think that's the hard part too, right? We do live life outside of this building too. So when that we have that short Thursday, practice or day ends at a half day, you still have time to go hang out with family and do that sorts of thing. There's still going to be meetings, but once you leave the building, people do what they do. It's life, and I think that's where we'll do things with the bowl sites, but we'll just be able to enjoy together. So I think it's actually more of a positive thing that we're just spending more time together. But for the most part, bowls are fun. We earn the right, to be there and play in it. We also know what's at stake, but we're gonna get our work in with coach, and we'll be just fine.
Middle left, Isaac.
Dylan, I'm curious, what would your Heisman ballot have looked like?
You don't want to know, but truth is, it is what it is. I'm not chasing that. I was appreciative of it. I'm representing my guys, so shoot, I'm gonna go. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I think you got to understand the illusion that's created and the external opinions of that have no, they have nothing to do with what I want to accomplish. But you appreciate it from a distance. If I wanted individual awards, I would have played tennis or golf, but I'm playing football, so I'm chasing wins, like I said, and I know what I'm not chasing. So.
Back right, Aaron.
Talked about the ability and the benefit to be able to kind of focus this last month on the self scout. What's the first thing that maybe comes to your mind when you're looking at your own self scout, or maybe the offense's self scout, that you wanted to make sure that you worked really hard on in this next month to prepare for the Rose Bowl?
Yeah, just how clean can we be? How efficient can we be? And, I think you look at, many times whether it's a 3 and out or a drive that doesn't end the way we want it, or why we're not sustaining drives. It is simple in the sense that we weren't playing clean. I didn't create a completion here. How could I have helped in progression? How do I extend plays more? Or how do I get to an answer quicker? And I truly believe you go through all the games, there's so many things you can clean up and you want back, but you also can't teach people, how to win, when you're in that situation. What I'm most proud of is how we found a way when we needed to. But cleaning it up when, how can we get away from people quicker? How do we leave no doubt? I think there's multiple times in a lot of games that, we're in the 30s range, we could be in the 40s or 50, as a scoring offense. So I think it's that killer instinct. I also believe that there's a lot of just execution that starts with me and that starts with everyone. But we all take pride in it together, so I think that also helps.
Turn left, James.
What has it been like working with Will this year and in this shotgun wedding scenario that you had? And I don't want to say compare per se, because the Levy relationship spans multiple years and multiple spots, so it's different.
Yeah.
But when you are learning a different terminology and it's not hype or Levy's or Gus's terms and it's shorter and this is more wordy, what has this been like this year?
As I've gotten older, and I'm only 23, so don't say I'm too old in the media, but yeah, one more week, gosh, no bueno. But as I've gotten older, I've appreciated like just different experiences, different coaches, and learning more. You know, I think when you can get stuck in one system, you can think you know it all and how football is. And you know, as I've gained new experiences, and of course here at Oregon, you just appreciate the different styles of football and how you can grow in so many ways and how you can be challenged. And I think I appreciate most is just the environment we have. You know, I've never been in the pros, but I've talked to some people, and this is probably the closest I've been around. You know, and the just how coach is and letting it be player led and letting us go be us and kind of make it our own thing. I think there's ownership in that, and you want to do it the right way. And no, you appreciate it, and I appreciate Coach Stein, Coach Lanning, everyone involved, Coach Terry, Coach Junior. I think just the conversations you're able to have is high level, and they want it to be that way. So, as a player, it's been everything and more.
Left there.
I ask you about Jaron Kiave and your relationship. And first off, what was the reaction when he did?
I can. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Sorry.
Thanks for clarifying. No,
Yeah.
that's good. What was your reaction when he did sign a couple weeks ago, and then take us back to last summer at the Elite 11 and what stood out there that led you to tell Dan this may be a guy to look at?
Yeah, I'm so happy for him. You know, I purposely didn't want to talk to him much because I want the best decision for him. You know, it's as a guy who's from Hawaii, like wherever that was for him, I wanted it to be for him. You know, all I told him was, shoot, you're gonna be living it every single day, so make sure you're happy with your decision. You know, but I think he made the right decision. You know, and I'm proud of him. But I thought highly of him when I'd watch him when I'd go back home and throw. But I think when I saw him at the Elite 11 around, top level guys as well, the dude can sling it. You know, he's got pop behind his arm. Of course, I'm a little biased, him being a lefty, but also, I mean, it wouldn't take anyone to see it. Like, go watch this kid throw live. Like, he's got pop. He can sling it with the best of them. But more importantly, I know the type of kid he is, being from Hawaii. So I'm proud of him, and I think there's maybe a little pipeline started, hopefully. So no pressure, Coach Lanning.
Back middle, Matt.
Back to Will. Just what's it about this offense that produces elite quarterbacks? You and Bo are different players, and yet same levels of success here. And why is this offense so attractive to a guy like Jaron and other quarterbacks?
I truly believe it is pro quarterback, and more than just the X's and O's and scheme. I think it's, the ownership in making it yours and allowing us to be in position to lead and, have conversations with receivers, tight ends, O-line, the whole nine, the meetings and allowing us to be vocal in those as well. And I think just those high level conversations, those meetings throughout the week with Coach Stein and Coach Lombardi, like I've never gone into a game uncomfortable. We talked through a million different situations or what I'd like in this situation, and you appreciate that because it's gonna. You're not caught by surprise when you're on that field, and even cooler, the headset communication when I come off. He's one of the first OCs I've had like on the field. So, yeah, it's as a quarterback, you need that alignment and that relationship to have success, and you just appreciate it.
Middle, Tyson.
You talked about having, obviously the life outside of this building, but I'm curious, having played in an era of college football where athletes are probably as big of stars or celebrities than they've been in this sport's history. What has that been like for you, adjusting to that and to, every single one of us in this room has written a story about you and knows your background. Like, how have you kind of adjusted to that role of everyone knowing every little thing about you?
Yeah, I understand the illusion. I understand the whole deal now. I think as a young kid, you don't know what it is, and you look up to it, and you watch others do it, and you read it, But once you're in it and you experience it, you understand that we're all the same. I'm not bigger than anyone or too small for anyone. I am who I am, and that's the confidence of knowing that anyone I'm in front of, I'm just gonna be myself, and I think people get lost in that at times, and that's kind of what I was alluding to, within a substance analogy is people can get lost in that, and be filled up with the wrong things, but I think because I've played a bunch and been around a lot of programs and a lot of people and had success, had failure, right? You just know what's real and what's not. So um, that's allowed me to be me. And I think everyone has that certain time in their life that, it clicks, but sometimes it takes longer for others.
Last question, Cam, right?
Dylan Bryce Betcher, obviously people know about his passion as an athlete, but I'm just wondering what your observations are of him as a representative of kids that come from Eugene and just what little ways Oregon football has benefited from having a personality like him around.
Yeah, I think the hometown hero thing is real. I think as a kid, I grew up and wanted to play for hometown. That's how you grow up naturally. And I think you see a kid that's always wanted to play for Oregon, and has wanted to represent his community and, of course, be home. But more importantly, I just enjoy his company. He's in my locker aisle, so we do our due diligence of daily banter and messing around. But he's just a good dude. He's about the right stuff. I think him being here, he represents everything that's right in college football. And how he's worked his way up and plays 2 sports, walked on, earned his thing. Like he's just, who wouldn't want a guy like that on your team and what he represents? So I'm appreciative I get to play with him, and be around him every single day. He's a competitive dude. And I told him we got to go hit BP one time. So no pressure again to Bryce.
Thanks, Dylan.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.